If you're a real estate professional, I want you to think about yesterday. How much of your day was spent in front of a client, on the phone with a serious buyer, or actively negotiating a deal? And how much of it was spent writing a listing description, drafting a follow-up email, trying to pull together market research, or staring at a blank social media post wondering what to say? For most agents, the honest answer is uncomfortable. The tasks that actually generate income, the ones that require your expertise, your relationships, and your judgment, take up a surprisingly small portion of the working week. The rest gets eaten up by writing, research, administrative work, and content creation. That is not a discipline problem. It is not a time management problem. It is a tools problem. And right now, in 2026, there is a solution that most real estate professionals have not fully figured out yet. Today, we are going to walk through what that solution actually looks like, how it works in practice, and how you can start applying it this week. Let's start with something that might surprise you. Research across the real estate industry suggests that agents spend somewhere between 30 and 50% of their working time on tasks that are not directly client-facing: writing, research, marketing, administrative follow-up, document review. Think about what that actually means. If you work a 50-hour week, you could be spending 20 of those hours on work that, while necessary, does not require your specific expertise, your local knowledge, or your human judgment. It requires time, attention, and effort, but not you specifically. Now, here is the part that changes everything. The quality of those tasks matters enormously. A poorly written listing description costs a seller showings. A slow, generic follow-up email costs you a buyer lead. An inconsistent social media presence means your sphere of influence slowly forgets you exist. So the tasks are important. They just don't need to take as long as they do. A well-executed AI workflow can cut the time it takes to write a listing description from 45 minutes to 5. A follow-up email that used to take 15 minutes takes 2. A week of social media content that once required hours can be drafted in a single 20-minute session. At a conservative estimate, that adds up to roughly 195 hours saved per year. Nearly 5 full work weeks returned to you, not to work more, to work better. Now, I want to be specific here, because there is a lot of noise around AI and a lot of vague promises. So let's talk about what it actually does well for a working real estate professional. First, writing first drafts of anything text-based: property descriptions, client emails, offer cover letters, listing presentation sections, buyer guides, social media captions, market update newsletters. You give AI the key details and the context, and it gives you a strong starting point in seconds. You review it, adjust it to match your voice and your knowledge of the property, and you are done. The blank page problem disappears entirely. Second, research and summarization. When a buyer asks about a neighborhood you are less familiar with, you used to spend an evening pulling information together. Now, a few well-placed queries to an AI research tool give you a solid factual foundation in minutes. You add your local perspective on top, and you walk into that consultation looking thoroughly prepared. Third, document review. Real estate involves a constant flow of dense paperwork: inspection reports, HOA documents, seller disclosures, purchase agreements. AI tools can read a long document and give you a plain language summary, flag the sections most likely to prompt client questions, and organize findings by priority. It does not replace careful legal review. It means you understand what you are dealing with before you make that call to your client. Fourth, lead nurturing and follow-up. One of the most consistent gaps in real estate business development is inconsistent outreach. Leads go cold, not because agents forget them, but because writing personal, contextually relevant messages for a large database is genuinely exhausting. AI makes it possible to produce thoughtful, customized outreach quickly, so more of your contacts get the attention they deserve. Fifth, brainstorming and idea generation. New angle for a listing that has been sitting. Fresh content ideas for your social presence. Ways to re-engage a cold database. AI is an exceptionally useful thinking partner for all of it. Understanding what AI can do is one thing. Knowing how to get good results from it is another. And this is where most people who try AI tools and give up get stuck. They type a vague request, get a generic response, decide AI is overhyped, and walk away. That is not an AI problem. That is a prompting problem. There are 5 core skills that determine how well AI works for you. The first is prompting. A prompt is simply what you type into an AI tool to tell it what you want. Weak prompts produce weak results. Strong prompts, ones that include the task, the audience, the tone, the key details, and the format you need, produce results that are genuinely useful from the first attempt. The good news is that prompting is a skill that improves quickly. Most people notice a significant difference in their results within a few days of intentional practice. The second is research, knowing which AI tool to use for which kind of research matters. Tools like ChatGPT and Claude are excellent for explaining concepts, summarizing established information, and producing structured overviews. Tools like Perplexity AI search the web in real time and give you sourced, current data on market conditions, local developments, and recent trends. Used together, they cover almost everything a working agent needs. The third is drafting. The most effective AI users are not people who copy and paste AI output without reading it. They are people who use AI to get to a strong starting point quickly and then apply their expertise, local knowledge, and personal voice to produce something genuinely excellent. Think of the AI draft as the rough cut. Your job is to be the editor. The fourth is summarization. Pasting a long document into a capable AI tool and asking it to pull out the key points, flag the unusual clauses, and organize findings by urgency is one of the highest value things you can do in the middle of a busy transaction period. The fifth is idea generation. Ask AI for 15 ideas instead of 3. Ask it to approach a problem from multiple angles. Ask it for the counterintuitive option. Treat the output as a menu and pick the 2 or 3 things that actually fit your market, your client, and your situation. Let me walk you through what a morning looks like for an agent who has built AI into their workflow. It is 8 a.m. Before the first client call, they open their AI tool and paste in the key details for a new listing they are taking on this week. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, updated kitchen, quiet street, good schools, target buyer is a young family. They type a clear prompt. 30 seconds later, they have a compelling first draft of the property description. They spend 5 minutes adjusting a few lines to match what they know about the property and their client's personality. Done. Next, they have 3 leads from last week who went quiet after initial contact. Instead of drafting 3 separate emails from a blank page, they give AI the context for each one and ask for a personalized follow-up message in a warm, low-pressure tone. 10 minutes for all 3. The emails go out before 8:30. Later that morning, they have a listing appointment for a neighborhood they know reasonably well, but have not pulled fresh data on in a few weeks. They spend 15 minutes using an AI research tool to pull together current market conditions, recent comparable sales trends, and a few talking points about the local area. They walk into that appointment with a clearly organized, well-informed perspective that takes the seller's confidence up several notches. That is one morning. Not a magic trick, not a transformation, just a series of ordinary tasks that used to take 2 to 3 hours, now handled in about 45 minutes. The rest of that time goes toward clients, relationships, and the work that actually cannot be delegated to any tool. I want to spend a moment on this because it is the question I hear most often, and it deserves a straight answer. AI will not replace what makes a great real estate professional valuable to a client. It will not sit across the table from a seller who is emotionally attached to a price the market will not support and have that conversation with empathy and honesty. It will not walk into a negotiation and read the room in ways no algorithm can replicate. It will not pick up the phone at 9 in the evening when something goes wrong in a transaction and know exactly what to say to calm a panicked buyer. It will not build the kind of trust that earns referrals for years after a single closing. Those things are irreducibly human. They are also the things clients value most and pay for most willingly. What AI does is take the writing, the research, the drafting, and the administrative load off your plate so you can invest more of yourself in the parts of this career that only you can do. That is not a threat to the profession. It is one of the better things to happen to it. The professionals who understand this early are not going to become technology experts. They are going to become more productive, more responsive, and more capable of delivering the kind of client experience that generates loyal relationships and consistent referrals. That is the opportunity in front of you right now. So where do you actually start? My recommendation is always the same. Pick one task in your workday that you find consistently draining. For most agents, that is writing listing descriptions or drafting follow-up emails. Start there. Open a free account on ChatGPT or Claude. Type a specific, detailed prompt for that one task and see what comes back. Do not try to overhaul your entire workflow in a week. Just replace one repetitive task with an AI-assisted version of that task. Get comfortable with the process, notice the time difference, and then add a second task, then a third. Within a few weeks, you will have a rhythm that saves you meaningful time every single day. If you want a structured guide to doing exactly this, including 50 ready-to-use prompts built specifically for real estate work and a day-by-day, 7-day action plan, there is a book I would point you toward. It is called The 60-Minute AI Upgrade for Real Estate Professionals. It is practical, it is non-technical, and it is written entirely around the actual tasks of your career. You can find the link in the description below. If this video was useful to you, subscribe to this channel. We cover how working professionals across different industries can use AI to work smarter, adapt to a changing market, and build careers that hold up over the long term. I will see you in the next one.